Picture this. It's the Roaring Twenties, an era of jazz, glamour, and prohibition. In a world brimming with wealth, secrets, and broken dreams, one man throws the most extravagant parties Long Island has ever seen. Who is he? What's his story? And why do his eyes seem to carry the weight of the world? Welcome to The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Tale of love, ambition, and the pursuit of the American dream gone terribly wrong. Buckle up, because this summary is about to take you into the heart of a glittering tragedy. Chapter 1. Meet Nick Carraway. Our story begins with Nick Carraway, the narrator, who moves to West Egg, Long Island, in 1922. He's an aspiring bondsman, fresh from the Midwest, ready to carve out a life in the bustling East Coast. Nick rents a modest house next door to a mysterious millionaire named Jay Gatsby. Across the bay is East Egg, home to the old money aristocracy, including Nick's cousin Daisy Buchanan and her husband Tom. Daisy is a charming and beautiful socialite, but Tom? He's arrogant, wealthy, and brace yourself a serial cheater. The Buchanans invite Nick over, and during dinner, Tom casually steps out to answer a phone call from his mistress. Awkward, right? Imagine being invited to your cousin's house, and discovering their marriage is basically a disaster. Yeah, Nick is off to a great start in Long Island. Chapter 2. Tom's Double Life. Tom takes Nick to meet his mistress, Myrtle Wilson. She's married to George Wilson, a struggling mechanic who runs a garage in the valley of Ashisa Desolate, industrial wasteland between West Egg and New York City. Myrtle is bold, flamboyant, and desperate to escape her dreary life. At a small party in the city, tensions rise when Myrtle taunts Tom about Daisy, and wait for it, Tom slaps her. It's an ugly moment that reveals just how toxic and abusive Tom really is. Tom Buchanan, ladies and gentlemen. Rich, powerful, and a walking red flag. But wait, it gets messier. Chapter 1. Gatsby's Glittering World. One night, Nick receives an invitation to one of Gatsby's legendary parties. Imagine hundreds of people, endless champagne, jazz bands, and fireworks. Gatsby's mansion is the ultimate party destination, but here is the twist. No one seems to know much about him. Some say he's a war hero. Others whisper he's a spy or a bootlegger. Nick finally meets the man himself, Jay Gatsby, a charming, enigmatic figure with a dazzling smile. Gatsby strikes up a friendship with Nick and reveals a surprising truth. He's deeply in love with Daisy. They had a whirlwind romance years ago before Gatsby went to war. But Daisy married Tom while Gatsby was away. Now, Gatsby is determined to win her back. Plot twist. Gatsby didn't throw all those parties just for fun. Every champagne bottle, every jazz note, every glittering light was for Daisy. Talk about dedication. Chapter 4. The Plan to Reunite. Gatsby convinces Nick to help him reconnect with Daisy. Nick arranges a tea at his house, and when Daisy arrives, Gatsby is a nervous wreck. But their reunion is magical awkward at first, then warm and nostalgic. Soon, they're inseparable. Gatsby's dream of rekindling their romance seems to be coming true, but tea here is an underlying tension. Gatsby idealizes Daisy to the point of obsession. For him, she's not just a person, she's a symbol of everything he's ever wanted. Gatsby doesn't just love Daisy. He loves the idea of Daisy. And that, my friends, is a recipe for disaster. Chapter 5. Old Money versus New Money. Gatsby's dream faces a harsh reality. Daisy is part of the old money elite, while Gatsby, despite his wealth, is new money, a self-made man with questionable connections. Tom grows suspicious of Gatsby and starts digging into his past. He discovers that Gatsby's fortune comes from bootlegging and other shady dealings. At a tense lunch in the city, Tom confronts Gatsby in front of Daisy and Nick. Tom exposes Gatsby's criminal activities and mocks him, calling him a fraud. Daisy, torn between her love for Gatsby and her loyalty to Tom, retreats into silence. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Gatsby's perfect dream is cracking, and you can't look away. Chapter 6. Tragedy strikes. On the way back to Long Island, Daisy, driving Gatsby's car, accidentally hits Myrtle, killing her instantly. But here is the kicker. Gatsby takes the blame to protect Daisy. Meanwhile, George Wilson, devastated by his wife's death, believes Gatsby was driving the car. If you thought things couldn't get worse, buckle up, this is The Great Gatsby, where heartbreak is the main course. Chapter 7. The Fall of Gatsby. George tracks Gatsby down and shoots him while he's swimming in his pool. Afterward, George turns the gun on himself. Gatsby dies alone, his dream shattered, and his grand parties silenced forever. Nick arranges Gatsby's funeral, but hardly anyone shows up. Even Daisy, the woman Gatsby built his life around, doesn't attend. She and Tom skip town, leaving the wreckage behind. Gatsby spent his whole life chasing a dream, but in the end, he was just another lonely man with a broken heart. Brutal. The final chapter. Reflection. Nick, disillusioned by the East Coast and its hollow decadence, returns to the Midwest. He realizes that Gatsby's tragic flaw wasn't just his obsession with Daisy, it was his belief in the American dream. Gatsby chased wealth, love, and status, only to discover that the dream was an illusion. Fitzgerald's message hits hard. The American dream, for all its glitter and promise, is often just a mirage, and sometimes chasing it can destroy you. Jazz music plays softly as the screen fades to a starry night over Gatsby's mansion. So, what's the takeaway from The Great Gatsby? It's a story about love, ambition, and the devastating consequences of living in the past. But it's also a critique of a society obsessed with wealth and status. It's timeless, it's heartbreaking, and it's as relevant today as it was in the 1920s. If you haven't read it yet, trust me, you are in for a ride. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe for more book summaries. Until next time, keep reading, keep dreaming, and remember sometimes the green light isn't worth chasing.